Insert funny intro.
Hello, I'm Vinzer Flinn, and welcome back to the Book of Flinn. Hey, where are you going? Right. Well, everybody, I think we should be very grateful, at least I am, that Reigna has returned and her slide whistle is not being picked up by the microphone.
Not yet.
And it's Reigna Flinn. A couple years ago, I think during the pandemic, I bought 2 slide whistles and I hid them around the house, and I haven't known where either of them are for the last several years because Reigna has re-hidden them and she deploys them once a year now. I always forget about them.
Fix my voice
there it is. Damn it!
Oh, I gotta work on that. It's like the dan-dan-dan-dan.
Yeah, that's the one you need to learn. Yeah.
And no one ever listened again.
No one's listening now, don't worry.
There's someone out there.
Like when Craig Ferguson was on the air, he's like, to the 3 people listening. All the hobos who couldn't get into the prices right down the street.
You can't do that when I'm drinking Pepsi, man. It'll come out.
Sorry about that. I loved when Craig Ferguson would make fun of the prices right because Drew Carey was hosting it at that point, so it was just extra fun. Right, so back to business. Tonight we're going to talk about Season 3, Episodes 3 of Clone Wars and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So looks like you're up for some Clone Wars.
We're going to start with a riveting episode about treaties and supply ships.
Oh, man.
Season 3, Episode 3, Supply Lines. Where there's a will, there's a way. I don't know who I ended up being in that moment.
A little bit of Admiral Cleese, a little bit of Skeletor. Well, there's a will, there's a way.
I was going for Harry and Marv, the bingo droids. Roger.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of that. Prediction, there's a delivery driver that's about to have a messed up day. Recap, Ryloth, for some fucking reason, is being attacked again.
I really like to pick on the Twi'leks. I saw the little Twi'lek girls, the kids running again. I'm like, oh, are you guys gonna fucking... I can't remember these episodes. I'm like, you gonna fuck up my heartstrings again by picking on these poor little Twi'lek kids?
I swear to God, man. I was just like, wait, are we going to see... Oh my God, what was her face? What's her face?
Numa?
Yeah, what... I thought we were gonna see Numa, and I was gonna be angry. So a blockade has cut off support to the Republic defenses. They're being led by Jedi Master Dai, and I was like, what? And I went back and I'm like, Dai?
I looked him up and it's spelled D-I. His full name is, if I'm saying it right, Ima Gun Dai. So it sounds like I need a gun or I will die.
So they couldn't just give him like Jedi Master Ima? Like they had to give him Dai? Because that's what you want leading your force.
He's a member of the Nikto race from a planet called Kintan, which is in Hutt space. The Hutts took it over and they run it. But there's apparently 3 different styles of Nikto, and he's what's called a Kajane Sai Nikto, which is a red Nikto, and I think there's a blue and a green or something. So anyway, a little trivia about Jedi Master Dai.
Yeah, well, he had mad eyebrows, man. He had teeth in his eyebrows. There was just a lot going on. I still wonder if he was the best to send in this case, based on his name. Like, doesn't bode well.
Jedi must have been like, Ryloth's getting invaded again. It's your turn. Get going.
He's just like, Dai goes, okay, I'll just go die then. He is supported by Cham Syndulla, who is the leader of the... I remembered him. He was the leader of like the resistance on the planet or something like that. Very,
very high up in the resistance. He's known as the Hammer of Ryloth, and I mentioned this before, but Syndulla, very important last name that will become relevant later on, especially in Rebels.
We go to the battleground where the Separatist troops advance on the Republic while I think I wrote Clam here. Cham delivers the good news, and they're running out of food and water, as well as power for heavy machinery, as like a machine just goes boom in the background. It's not looking pretty.
I'm still stuck on clam Syndulla. Yeah, I'll have an order of clam Syndulla.
General Die. I can't with this name. I'm sorry. General Die calls up to the Republic ships in orbit on the other side of the blockade, and he's like, we need supplies immediately, while he's actively like fighting off bullet shots. And Admiral Dow is like, but we're also out of stuff. So they contact the Jedi Council. Man, this whole scene. At the Jedi Temple, Admiral updates the Jedi Council, and I'm like, great, it's Mace Face. And Obi-Wan Kenobi, otherwise known as Mace Windu and Obi-Wan. Kenobi, from the comfort of his nice little haven, is like, must be something you guys can do. Then he watches them explode because their shields power down because they run out of fuel. Once Bad News Boba comes up on the screen to Admiral Dow and that they're dead in space, and all of a sudden it cuts out because they explode, everybody is the Council of Burrows.
Yeah, taking it pretty cool for a Star Destroyer with like hundreds of people on it that just got snuffed.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, well, damn, I guess that's our problem. Over at Senator Bratt's ship, which I do eventually go on to relearn is Senator Organa, the Jedi reach out to Senator Bratt to ask him to meet a relief ship on Toydaria. And Kenobi drops the final bomb. He's like, there's already a diplomat from Naboo accompanying the ship. And of course, everybody's like, oh, well, Amidala, like, she got this. And they're like, it's not her.
Guess again. It's like they couldn't get anyone else from Naboo. They couldn't get, like, you know, Typho or Panaka or someone cool. Like, no, fucking Binks.
Yep, so we got Binks and Bratt are here to save the day.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Bratt is being asked to negotiate a treaty for the Republic to be able to dispatch ships from there because they're a lot closer than the next fleet point. And Bratt's like, I'll see what I can do. At the Separatist blockade, Count Dooku, who I must say is his face is looking longer every single day, is in the middle of clearly something important. My money's he was like binging like 90 Day Fiance or something like that.
As soon as that door opened, he turned off the monitor.
Yeah, he's like Love Island.
Next time.
End call.
Didn't see you playing with your dolls again.
He's rudely interrupted by a middle management monkey droid. I don't know what model this is. I don't care to learn what model it is. I hate it. And a B1 droid. They had intercepted the previous holo call between Jedi and Senator Bratt. And they're like, we intercepted part of the call, then proceeds to lay out the entire plan.
By part of it, I mean 99%. Yeah.
We missed that one where they were talking about the other trade agreement at the beginning of the call. It's very sudden. It pans out when Count McLongface spins around on his Roomba chair.
He's just riding it around. He was actually cleaning his quarters.
It's so sudden that I wasn't even smoking anything, and I couldn't stop laughing at that. I had to watch it a couple of times. The middle management droid is like, we only got part of the message. And Dooku orders them to send a message to Lot-Dod.
Lot-Dod, yeah.
Lot-Dod of the Trade Federation. I'm like, oh, great. These guys, I hate these guys. At Toydaria, which I forgot was the fly planet, which I will swing back around to later, Senator Bratt has arrived, but he looks concerned. I don't know why. Maybe did he see the guards from the air or something? He just looked a little concerned at the... I don't know. Maybe he's just never been there. He is greeted by a less than friendly guard who orders him not to leave the ship, and Bratt's like, no. Then we hear, hello! Senator Subtle heads over in his full Avril Lavigne glory. Stupid tie.
Yeah, I don't know what this fucking tie, jeez.
And the arm sleeves, the matching arm sleeves. Bratt sidles past them, and Binks heads over to the palace, where the diplomat hollers another greeting into this quiet, echoey palace. Bratt diplomatically asks him to shut his pie hole as they approach the king. And the king reminds him that they are a neutral planet. So that's good to know. I didn't previously know that. And the two senators explain that they're trying to see a humanitarian effort and to let Toydaria be a launch place for them. Just then, Lot Dodge shows up like, let's not be too hasty.
I just found it weird that Bill uses the term humanitarian. I mean, contextually, I understand what he's trying to say, but why even say we have a Rylothian crisis or something like, but humanitarian? I mean, I know why they used it in the script,
Yeah.
but it's like, they're not all humans,
And that's the thing is I did notice that. I forgot to actually make a note, but I went back and I was like, did he actually say humanitarian when I went to write it down? I made sure to use that word to see if you picked up on the same thing I did. Brat greets them in perfect diplomatic fashion, and Jinx thinks that Dodd can't hear him when he's speaking behind his hand and pointing. What's he doing here? Like, dear God, man, have you ever learned anything from being around anybody? Ever? The king tells them that they have a good working relationship with the Trade Federation, and that's why Dodd's here. And Brat drops all pretense, and he's like, nah, I don't like the Trade Federation because they're too close to the Separatists. And Dodd's like, my pearls! He basically says that they have nothing to do with the Separatists, and Gunray is an extremist, so painting him in a completely different light. And he just wants to make sure that nothing jeopardizes their agreement. The king and I was surprised. The king and the Toydarian council seemed to agree with Brat that Toydaria should assist Naboo and Alderaan with providing aid to Ryloth. Until Dodd mentions the blockade and the fact that the whole thing is there because of a war between the two fronts. So they have to go and think about it. Back at the battleground, the Separatists have taken out the right flank of the Republic's forces, and Cham is starting to think that the Republic has abandoned Ryloth. I didn't really have a lot to say about these scenes. I just kind of took them for what they were. This wasn't really like a thought-heavy plot, kind of either of them. There was a few thoughts, but all of the ministers have convened with the king, and they came back to hear the two senators make their case. They actually phoned in the Ryloth senator, and I was like, oh God, is it the guy I think it is? Where he was the one who ran with the chicken leg or something like that in one of the episodes. Yeah. The ministers are moved by his case, but still hesitant to help. And Dodd's like, Ryloth is in ruin because of the war. They allowed a Republic outpost on Toydaria. It won't be a humanitarian base. And even Dodd uses that, which I thought was interesting. It will be a military base, and therefore trade federations will be attacked by separatists. And they wouldn't be able to continue trading with Toydaria. So after a little back and forth, they go away to decide. On Ryloth, they realize that they have a ship, but it's not big enough to take all the refugees. So instead, they're just gonna pull a Skywalker and blow it up. Like, what? They're going to take it and use it to block one of the paths so that they can control where they come in. But still, at least that'll allow time for refugees to escape. Back at Toydaria, the king announces that they ultimately decide to remain neutral and sorry, we can't do that. We can't help you. Brat and Binks are walking away trying to come up with plan B. Waiting for you to get the joke. Are you ignoring me?
Oh, I get it.
Hello.
I'm sorry, I found this episode fucking grueling. I would have gladly skipped it.
Yeah. The king catches up with them and goes, psst, hey, actually, I want to help you out right now. So sneak the ships out of here, okay? But we can't do it ongoing. We just got to do it now while they're on the planet. Like, you can't even wait for Dodd to leave. Or, not have Dodd over for dinner. Maybe just let him leave. But, okay, whatever. Brat and Binks, after Brat's like, I have a plan, they meet up with Dodd and the Toydarian ministers, and they're heading to a formal dinner, which is Dodd's personal idea of a hell. He hates them so much, especially where Sorry, you won't have Senator Bratt. You're only going to have Senator Hijinks. On Ryloth, I'm doing the best I can with this episode, okay? The troopers tell the refugees on Ryloth to make haste. They won't be able to hold them off for long. And one of Cham's men, I didn't catch his name, he said it once, but I don't remember it, tells them that Cham is feeling betrayed because the Republic hasn't been keeping their promises. And Dai gets it. He's just like, well, they haven't been able to make it through. Like, I get it. And over at the death trap where the gun is, this is probably my favorite moment of the episode. Merv notices a gunship blocking their way.
Yeah, we definitely got two droids in the normal Harry and Marv action in this one, at least.
I was so excited. They think it's a ship full of clones ready to sneak out and attack. No clones, just explosives. Harry's last words. At Toydaria, back to the land of the boring, supply ships are arriving, and Brad is like, all right, come on, get the stuff on there. We gotta get off the ship. We gotta get off this planet. And Brat tells Binks they're about to launch the ships, so Binks does what he does best to distract. This is when I noticed the fact that the table has no floor. Everything they're on is in the air, which I get because these are a bug people. But do you not think that for the non-wing havers, they would have, I don't know, a floor underneath? Like, how high up is this? How is Dodd not pooping himself? How is Binks not pooping himself? So Binks crawls onto the table, starts stealing everyone's plates, throwing all the food on the floor, which doesn't look that far down, but it's still a little high enough for me. And he steals everyone's plates, and he's like, I'm gonna make an art concept of Senator Dodd. I'm like, where is he going with this? He's throwing plates and bowls around, and this is adding more weight to the Darth Jar Jar, because he is suddenly super graceful.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like he rolled a 20 on every dexterity check, but it's just backing up that he's somehow force sensitive and doesn't know it. Because I mean, the way he stacked them by throwing, just like you'd never be able to do that if you didn't have the force.
Do you think Yoda knows and it's just like, I'm not telling him, I'm not having him in here? He doesn't want him as a Jedi.
Not worth it. It is. Nobody'd be willing to take him on as an apprentice. Kenobi would be like, no.
Mace Windu, can you imagine? I'm sorry I had to behead him.
He'd go dark side in a day.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, anybody would. That's why, because he would probably make anybody go dark side. While Binks is throwing around all the plates and making this gorgeous display, Barry, Beauty and the Beast, he gets applause from the audience and except he keeps staring at the ships as they take off, and it makes Dodd really suspicious. So he turns and looks in that direction. He's like, oh, I'm gonna wait. And then thankfully he's facing the wrong way for the final ship.
You'd think they could have found a room to dine in that didn't have floor-to-ceiling windows of the take and landing area? Like,
you think that they could have maybe not gone up until they were curved around the Earth a little bit? Like, they could have just went, like, underneath? Like, they were at the top. They could have just floated over and then went up. On Ryloth, the Separatist army advances through that soul path that the Republic army set up, and the Republic definitely seems outnumbered. We see the clone commander, Captain Kiri.
Was it something like that? I didn't quite catch it.
Yeah.
He had a very cool helmet, though.
He did. And I really liked his, he had, an asymmetrical, upper chest plate, like a collarbone.
Oh, that's, ARC Trooper markings.
I liked it. His, clone captain returns to his feet after a fall and looks like they're about to be beat, but the relief ships fly overhead, and I'm like, yay, they're saved! Oh, wait, never mind. And they sacrifice themselves to the cause. Cham sees the Republic drop ships with the supplies, and he's just like, well, I was wrong. On Toydaria, after we see the Republic drop ships with the supplies back on Ryloth, the king bids Brat and Binks adieu, just as Dodd catches up to them and he's like, there are words that the ships got through the blockade, and Brat's like, prove it. Take it to the Senate, knowing full well that the Senate moves about as fast as it wants to in regular government in the real world. With that, Dodd has like a small tantrum and then he just kind of walks away. And the king, who is constantly surprising me this whole episode, tells Brat that he likes the Republic's heart, but doesn't think that they have the ability to beat the Separatists. And the king is still rethinking the treaty and is open to discussing with the Jedi. Bam, ba-dam, ba-dam, ba-dam. In closing, I really didn't think that this episode was going to go this way at all. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. I haven't had great interactions with a lot of Toydarians in the past, so maybe that was just kind of why. For a treaty and Senate-heavy episode, it was well-balanced with the efforts on Ryloth. They even managed to weaponize Jar Jar appropriately. Senator Brat is very smart, and I think I like Toydarians a little more than I did at the beginning of the episode. I didn't even hate Jar Jar in this episode, so that was no easy feat.
Yeah, and no shade to Ahmed Best because we like him, but it's just
Yes.
Jar Jar's just he's set up to be this annoying character, and that's almost like it's not his fault. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, but he was weaponized appropriately. Like he wasn't overly. He was just enough to remind us that we're like, ugh, man. But again, no hate to the voice actor because he does a good job.
No, we like Ahmed Best just fine.
And if it ever came out that Darth Jar Jar was going to be a movie, I would be on board so fast. So fast.
I think this fan base would have actually liked it a lot more than the Emperor suddenly returns mysteriously. And we're like, okay. Like, we would have swallowed Darth Jar Jar way more happily than fucking Palpatine being back.
So many people would have felt betrayed because you just think he's this bumbling idiot. But if you go back and you watch him, like I said, there's a lot of support, especially with his ability to like communicate with animals in the episode where he like kind of saves the day, pretending to be a Jedi kind of thing. It's wild. Pretending to be a Jedi.
There's an argument to be made about, that he could have played this bumbling fool while pulling the strings the whole time. Like I said, there's a lot of the fans that would have been, yep, we accept that. It's no crazier than Palpatine pulling all these strings in government, which is way more like this is just a funner what if.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it keeps going. And so, oh man, episode 9 would have been so great if that was Jar Jar and What's-Her-Face's fight at the end of that. That would have been epic.
Like, imagine Jar Jar comes out and you're like, what the fuck? But he's like badass. He's like, you said thought I was just a fool. And then he just kicks everyone's ass. Like, it would have blown our minds.
Because he is, as we see, he is incredibly agile and he is incredibly precise. I think that he would have given Darth Vader a run for his money at some points. It would have been very interesting to see that side of it. So I hope that somebody gets into the Star Wars planning chair that has that love for Darth Jar Jar, and hopefully that, because I would love to have like an unredemption arc for this guy.
Just picturing him in like black robes with his eyes are all Sithy with a double-bladed lightsaber, and he goes, "Now, Misa has baby." It would have been wild.
Yeah.
Now, I remember when these episodes came out back in like this episode aired in like 2010, and I remember bitching about these episodes for the same reasons. It's like there's way too much screen time on trade agreements and politics and not enough on the actual fight. And like politics, the stuff in Star Wars should be way in the background. You should know what's going on, but we don't need 20 minutes of screen time debating trade policies and blockades. Like, no one wants to watch that. Like, it's just boring. Like, I want to watch Clone Wars, not diplomatic drudgery. And unfortunately, there's a few episodes like this, and I just can't stand them.
Unfortunately, I think it's one of the wars, and I think that's why they give, like, even in the movies and stuff, they give it so much screen time, because wars aren't fought just on the front lines. They're fought.
And I get that.
Yeah.
And I know why they did it. But just personally, like, I grew up with the original trilogy where we didn't even see the Emperor even in person until the third movie. We knew he was the bad guy. We knew things, in episode 4, there's just a throwaway statement about the Galactic Senate being disbanded, but we never see that happen. We just hear about it in the rest of the galaxy, and that's kind of the way I like it, is keeping the politics far away from it. But I understand why they do it, but again, just personal preference. I don't really want to see all that on the screen all the time, except for key moments like where the Emperor took over, that like when he's like, I will organize us into the first galactic empire, like that needed to be on screen. But like Bail Organa going to Toydaria to talk to King Kachunko, whatever his name is, about give that 2 or 3 minutes. Don't give it fucking 15 minutes in a 22-minute episode. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And having said that, I really enjoy Bail Organa. I do like the character, and like I said, I like it when Jimmy Smits plays him. I like it when Benjamin Bratt played him in Andor. I like both actors. I like the character. So no disrespect to Bail or even Jar Jar. It's just I find the diplomatic stuff a little dull.
The other key moment that I adore of the political moments is the huge speech that was made at the end of Andor. I forget the character's name.
Yep, Stellan Skarsgård's character. Or no, well, he did a great one too, but Mon Mothma's, yes. But that was really key to the whole story and everything. So that's the kind of stuff I do want to see.
Yeah, and that was just such a beautiful moment. I just wanted to shout that out. We were talking about key moments in the Senate, because we got to take something good out of this episode. Besides more weight to the Darth Jar Jar theory, which is going to be the canon that it's going to be my booth. You know how they have those booths where it's like, convince me otherwise?
Change my mind.
Yeah, change my mind. That's my booth.
I think you'd have people coming up going, I agree. They'd be sitting down with you.
Exactly. People would be like, yeah, you know what? That makes sense.
The evidence mounts. Originally the Jar Jar character in episode 1 was supposed to be this hardened Gungan mercenary that betrayed Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. I'm like, maybe we should have done that. That sounded pretty cool.
I would rather that if we never get Darth Jar Jar.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I can see people who haven't watched Clone Wars not really think that, because you see him just being a bumbling fool in the first movie. You don't really get to see like that much agility as you get to see in Clone Wars, because that's where you get to see where he pretends to be a Jedi and infiltrate a planet, and you get to see him in this episode. And so you kind of only see him in the second and third movies like in passing, but he doesn't really show up as much, I don't believe, after the first movie.
Do you know what happens to Jar Jar in canon after he basically paves the way for the Emperor to take over?
No.
He returns to Naboo. He's basically an outcast. He's shunned, and he ended up on the streets in like Theed, entertaining kids. I think he basically fucking dies on the street kind of thing. But it fucks up his life completely.
Or does it?
Well, yeah, maybe that's what he wanted us to think.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, Jar Jar really went down. No one's gonna check in on him. Good.
They should make a 4th sequel, Star Wars Episode X, The Return of Darth Jar Jar, or some shit, like.
Or keep it as like the mind-blowing thing where somebody's pulling the strings, but you never see who, and then you get to the end, and then all of a sudden, boom, Jar Jar, and you're just like, what the boom? And then, because Kenobi and him can have that showdown. There's enough years in there.
Kenobi dies in episode 4.
Yeah, but like, it doesn't have to be in order. They have Rogue One happen well after everything else.
Call it Star Wars Episode X, Revenge of the Phantom Menace. He's the actual Phantom Menace.
It's true.
I'd go see it. You know what would be great is if they do that, and then there's a big final reveal, and then Jar Jar goes, "You sa in big doo-doo now."
Dun, 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 dun.
Right. Buffy, Season 3, Episode 3, titled Faith, Hope, and Trick, which didn't really make a lot of sense to me until I watched the episode.
Mm.
So my prediction is that Faith is going to be introduced, which I knew, tangentially in the 90s that she was a character in the show and was going to turn up eventually. So sure enough, well, spoiler alert, prediction came true. I'd phone that one in. All right, so we're back at school, and we find in senior year, students are allowed to leave the campus for lunch, and Willow likes the idea, but still has to be physically dragged off campus by the gang. It just goes against her nature. I'm like, they didn't let you go to lunch until grade 12? I'm like, shit, we were escaping uptown fucking grade 7 and 8, shit. And there's Buffy waiting just slightly off campus with a picnic. She's banned from school, but not from our hearts. And, I remember going somewhere and found a pretty blonde girl waiting for me with a picnic too. It was our first anniversary. Let me tell you folks, it was me and Reigna's first anniversary, and I was going to meet her near my old apartment, and I was stressing out because I was fucking broke as usual, and I'm like, oh, where am I going to take her? Where can I afford to take her to a good time? And she'd already figured all that out and had a picnic waiting for me, and we had a nice picnic in the park.
Yeah, except right before that, as he's walking towards, he goes, "Who is this weirdo in the park at night?" She just got this. Oh no, that's my girlfriend.
Oh, it's my weirdo.
Ta-da! Surprise!
And it was great.
Yes.
So there you go. All right, so the gang is paired up. They're all coupled, and they have to sort of decouple as they walk towards Buffy, so as to kind of spare her feelings, because she's like the fifth wheel in the group right now. Cordelia, as always, succinctly summarizes things up and says how Buffy's boyfriend had to be put down like a dog. Sensitive as always.
I love her so much. Never change.
Willow points out a young man, Scott Hope, who wanted to ask Buffy out last year, but she wasn't ready. And I'm like, congratulations to Scott Hope for surviving, the school so far. The body count this fucking school's got. She also points out this thing that Buffy does with her mouth, which she means is a half smile, but that, it quickly spirals out.
I put that quote too. Do that thing with your mouth that boys like.
Willow says to Oz, "You're supposed to stop me when I do this." And I was like, I like when you do that. But Scott says hello. At this point, I think if I heard this right, Xander jokingly calls Buffy a slut. And I'm like, oh!
I have that quote. I saw that half smile, you little slut. And then she punches him, which was the only part of that was necessary. Please keep doing that. Keep doing that.
And I don't think he was fake crying. I think she actually gave him a bone bruise or something, because he's like, ugh.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, exactly. And I worked with somebody who was like Willow, when she's like, do that thing with your mouth that boys like, and then she realizes what she said. It really adds so much to the workday. I miss her.
It's like Susie Dent in Cats does Countdown. She's always saying filthy things, and she doesn't realize it until she said it, and everyone laughs at her.
Good. It's so good. I have like 60 pages of like a quotes from that store when I was working there, and she's probably about 50 of them.
So Buffy does want to get back to a little normalcy. She wants to do girly stuff like shopping, school, save the world from evil, that sort of thing. And so skip over to a nighttime scene where a stretch limo pulls up to Happy Burger, I think it was.
Yep.
Orders a Diet Coke for 89 cents. And I'm like, fuck, take me back to the 90s, man.
I know, that hurt too. I wrote it.
Oh. So there's a smooth looking gentleman in the back, says Sunnydale is heavy on the Caucasians, but you have to admire the death rate. It's true. You don't see a lot of black people in Sunnydale, at least so far.
Yep.
And I have a note here. Seriously, the coroner has to be the busiest fucking guy in town. He must we got 12 tonight, except for the zombies that self-clean, apparently. The guy says they can fit right in here to the other person in the back who is still shrouded in shadows, but we see a sort of a clawed demonic hand. And they're there to kill the Slayer, which is an important plot point. So the first guy, he pulls the Happy Burger attendant through the drive-thru window into the car. His legs are kicking out of the windows and drive away. So that's his Happy Meal with his Diet Coke, I guess.
Can you imagine hearing what the cloven vampire says as you're working at the drive-thru? The window is still open, so you can hear this guy saying all of these things, and then all of a sudden just this guy launches at you and hauls you in.
Imagine the manager like, geez, where's Bill? He's fucking... the window's empty here.
her rewatching the security footage going, oh my god.
You probably think he jumped out and fucked off.
They probably don't even have security.
And Buffy's dreaming again. She's dancing with Angel at the bronze as the gang looks creepily on. And her clotter ring falls to the floor with memories of killing him. And then Angel gets all bloody and weird. Buffy wakes up and she still has the ring in her nightstand.
There is a little fun fact in here. This was something that I noticed in the last episode, in the first episode, and I wanted to see if I was right because I remember when he gets all like zombified or like dead. I recognize the shirt. It is the shirt that she is wearing when she is opening up that canned good when she's in the apartment in Los Angeles. It's
Okay.
the same. It's the exact same shirt. Anyways, I just thought it was really cool. Also, because I am a psycho, I looked up the positions of the clotter rings for any symbolism, and Buffy's wearing it in the married position while Angel is wearing it in the in a relationship position. So, whoopsie, awkward.
Joyce and Buffy go to meet with Principal Quark, and he lays down the rules for her going back into school. She has to do some makeup tests for what she missed, and she has to get a letter of recommendation from any faculty member that's not an English librarian, and she has to be cleared by, I think, the school psychologist that she's not a danger as she's fiddling with a letter opener in a like it's a knife.
Why would he leave that in reach? Like, why would he even put that there?
Yeah. But the school board has essentially overruled Principal Snyder, and Joyce plays it very mature with a nah, 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 nah.
I noticed a trophy in Snyder's office, and now I want to know what they're for. What do you think that he would get a trophy for? For some reason, my first thought was bowling.
I'd buy that. Willow and Buffy go to the library, and Willow's sort of making fun of the way Giles does this clucking English mad thing, and then he pops up from behind the counter. Oh, how long have you been there? So Giles is working on making sure the binding spell on the demon thingy is secure, which means he's getting details on Angel's defeat from Buffy. So, she doesn't want to talk about that, but he's sort of making her. Buffy's got to go take an English makeup exam, and she says, you get credit for speaking English, right? I thought she was making an English joke about Giles, but maybe not.
Nope, she was... I felt that because that's pretty much what I said right before my English provincial in high school.
Giles learns a bit about the spells Willow's been trying out. Obviously, he's a little concerned about her dabbling in magic. So back at the Bronze, not a dream this time. There's more sedate 90s music. Not quite Depresso night, though. Willow and Oz are making out on one of the couches, and Buffy shows up. She passed her English exam. And Scott Hope shows up, and he asks Buffy to dance, but he's very no pressure about it, and Buffy gets all stammery, kind of stutters a bit. I love this part. Cordelia comments on the guy breaking it down on the dance floor, dancing very not to the music, and says, what's the last thing he danced to? KC and the Sunshine Band? What a Gen X thing to say. That was old for us. Now, Buffy's Slayer sense is going off as the guy leads a girl outside. I'm like, you think she'd be banned at the Bronze, too? It's like, not you again. Get out of here. But I guess a lot of the destruction happens after hours. So the gang goes out into the very clean alley where the girl, Faith, is kicking the guy's ass. And she just immediately, no preamble, introduces herself. She knows who Buffy is. It looks like there's a new Slayer in town. And she borrows Buffy's stake and kills the vampire. So back inside, Faith's talking to the gang, which stories about her being naked and wrestling alligators. And I'm like, Xander, please roll your tongue back in your head. Faith says Slade makes her hungry and horny, and everyone immediately looks to Buffy. She's like, well, sometimes I crave a non-fat yogurt afterwards. No surprise, when Kendra died, the sort of Slayer loophole, Faith was activated. And her watcher, who apparently is a woman, they mention that later in the episode, which is interesting, which is nice to see that it's not just all guys. Her watcher went to England, so Faith came to Sunnydale to meet Buffy and compare notes. Faith asks what Buffy's toughest kill was, and I'm like, ooh, touchy subject. This subject keeps coming up.
Yeah.
But what Oz really wants to know is, what's your position on werewolves? And then Willow immediately outs him.
I don't get why she said the 3. Like, the master's right there. She died at his hand. Like, you think that that would be the hardest or the other hardest kills if she didn't want to talk about Angel? Like, maybe just get back a little bit further, because you went all the way back to the first time that you realized Angel was a vampire, because that was that episode. He saved her from the 3.
There's 10 kills Buffy could have referenced as her toughest one, honestly.
The judge?
Yeah, there's a few. So Faith she's very keen to get to the business of slaying. She's there to do the job. And apparently there's a Watchers retreat in the Cotswolds every year. And I was like, Giles just didn't go? Nope, he wasn't invited. And Faith thinks Giles is pretty cute.
Raise your hand if ew.
Yeah, good line. Her arrival is fortuitous as 2 people just went missing. So that night the plan is to have dinner at Buffy's and go on patrol.
My question is, how is that different from any other night in Sunnydale? Only 2
Honestly,
people went missing?
Yeah, that's not even a 2 Slayer problem. It's barely a 1 Slayer problem.
Exactly. So
the gang has largely accepted Faith already. Giles, the new girl, has a lot of zest. So Giles is still trying to get the details of Angel's death from Buffy says the more details, the better for the binding spell. Meanwhile, Willow and Xander give Faith a tour of the school, pointing out all the spots they've nearly died, and there's a lot of them in the immediate area, and it's revealed that Faith is a high school dropout.
I don't like that Willow's not there for Buffy, because the moment that Buffy's like, I could actually use some help with science, like, Willow's like, anyways, I'm gonna go with the cool new Slayer and go show her around school. You don't need any help with your science stuff, right? Okay, bye. I didn't like that.
They glommed right onto her.
Yeah.
And Faith bumps into Scott Hope, and I was like, oh. Cordelia swoops in. She wasn't in this episode very much, but she had some good lines. Does anyone believe that's her actual hair color? Willow quotes Faith to Buffy, "You really need to find the fun, B." I'm like, Buffy's looking like old news with this cool new Slayer around.
In this scene, I saw a few signs in the background. Abstinence lets you choose your future, so there's a play for abstinence education. Yikes.
Posters everyone wishes they'd listened to in retrospect.
And then wait, there's a guy with one leg on crutches and the sign reads, "One for the road."
I missed that one.
It was right over their shoulder at one point. I wish I could screenshot when I'm watching, but I can't on Paramount. And oh my god, it was so good. I had to stop and go, is that actually what I'm reading right now? But I also like that Buffy is showing maturity and the needing for thinking things through. And Xander and Willow have not gone through what she's gone through, so they're not exhibiting the same level of growth, because she did a lot of growing when she was on her own figuring things out this summer.
Over at the bad guy's lair, we learn the well-dressed fellow is Mr. Trick. And we get a clear look at the big bad. Mr. Trick talks about the internet speeds in town. Let me tell you, in the mid-90s, a T3 line was dope, man. Most of us were stuck on 28.8, 36.6 modems if we were lucky. Forget about 56. That came later. It looks like the big bad is after the Slayer indeed, but he's after the new one. They don't seem aware that there was already a Slayer in town. He doesn't care. He says, I'll kill 100 Slayers. And he's got a really big scar over one eye that apparently Faith gave him. The pizza guys show up, and Mr. Trick goes, "Food's here, boys," and he pulls him in like he did the fucking guy at the Happy Burger. So the henchmen are getting their food.
Pizza delivery is different in Sunnydale.
It's probably the brother of the guy who's, "I wonder what happened to my brother. He was working at Happy Burger and disappeared."
Oh, no.
So the Joyce is having dinner with Buffy and Faith, and it's like very casual conversation. "So you're a Slayer too?" And Faith seems very enthusiastic about her role as a Slayer. The Buffy and Joyce go to talk in the kitchen for a sec. Joyce likes Faith. She likes the idea of having a second Slayer, maybe even take over for Buffy. It then comes out about a new Slayer being activated when the old one dies. So Joyce is like, "When did you die?" And she gives just for a few minutes. So that was a new little revelation on top of all the stuff Joyce has had to learn lately.
Yeah, and there's a lot more gay parallels here where she's like, "Oh my god, I hate this. I hate your life." Like she's not on board 100% with Buffy's life and the way she has to live her life because that's who she is. Um, I wonder what you think about couldn't she take over for you? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Would you, like, if you were a person who, if you were in Buffy's position, would you do that? Like, would you be like, technically, my job's done. I'm supposed to be under the ground, yo, so I'm just gonna peace out.
I mean, I could see the the appeal of that, but honestly, I think as long as she's breathing and she's the Slayer, that it's just a calling. Like she'll find herself back doing it wherever she went to L.A. and she still ended up fighting demons and shit. So I don't. It's her choice, but it's like she's compelled to do it. That's what she is. So she's always gonna do it, whether she likes it or not. Which sounds like a thing you locked into being, locked into your fate kind of thing. But I guess that's just comes with the job.
Nothing like having your life decided at 15, huh? I looked at Victor and I went, Victor, I'm just going to let you know that you are 14. And he goes, yes. And I was like, Buffy was technically 15 when she was called. Can you imagine all that responsibility next year if that fell on you? And he was just like, oh. uh, yeah. And the other line that I liked from Joyce was, it's probably good you were an only child.
All right, so whether she likes it or not, Buffy now has help, and they go out into the night to patrol. A little static starts generating between them over Buffy's uptightness and the angel subject. They look like they're going to get into it, but vampires attack and a fight ensues. Faith says her dead mother hits harder than that. And Faith is too busy beating the shit out of the vampire instead of staking it as Buffy is overrun. And they say what I assume is the bad guy's name, Kakistos. And I was like, Faith has got some serious buried rage under all the coolness because she's just fucking wailing on this guy. Buffy pulls Faith off the vampire and stakes it.
It's interesting seeing these two interact because at the beginning, Kendra and Buffy didn't get along either. It's almost like Slayers are never meant to get along because they're not meant to coexist beside each other.
Yeah, that makes sense. Buffy consults with Giles. She doesn't really like Faith's methods, but Giles is very distracted about all the fun he's missing at the Watchers Retreat.
He seems really butthurt by this.
This event seems like a great opportunity to wipe out a lot of Watchers at once, but I digress.
Yeah.
So Buffy relates that vampires were saying kissing toast, but Giles quickly discerns that they were saying Kakistos. And he's a vampire so old his hands and feet are cloven. I'm like, oh, geez, if you get that old, don't pass on that.
Sorry, does that mean he's older than the Master?
I don't know. I guess
his
so.
hands weren't cloven, but the Master was supposed to be like the first, whatever.
And Kakistos is a Greek for worst of the worst, and Giles is concerned. So the arrival of him and Faith at the same time is definitely no coincidence. Scott Hope makes a last-ditch attempt to ask Buffy out and gives her a little friendship present, but it's the same ring Angel gave her. Oopsie, date chances over.
Dude, seriously? A ring? You're not even dating her. That's weird. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was a bit of a jump. Giles reports that Faith's watcher is dead. Buffy goes to see Faith at her $18 a day room to talk about Kakistos, and for the first time Faith actually looks afraid and she starts packing to head out. Kakistos killed her watcher, who was apparently a woman. Then the man himself just shows up at the door with his gang, and Faith finally loses her cool, but they escape out the window into one of Sunnydale's many alleys. So Faith witnessed Kakistos killing her watcher, and she seems a little fucked up over it. And the fight with the henchmen goes into what looks like their lair where the limo was, which looks a lot like the Ghostbusters firehouse. Just the layout of it, like just that tall, thin layout. I was like, this looks like the Ghostbusters place. So Kakistos goes after Faith while Buffy deals with a henchman. And Mr. Trick just kind of stays out of the fight, and he actually leaves. He just tips fuck out the door. I'm like, this guy's gonna be back. He seems like a clever fella. So Buffy stakes Kakistos, but it doesn't work. That was surprising. And he says, I guess you need a bigger stake. So Faith picks up a much bigger stake, and it actually does kill him. I was like, I can't believe that worked. In the aftermath, I was actually a little surprised Keystone was dealt with as easily, but in the aftermath, Giles reports that Faith is going to stay in Sunnydale until a new Watcher is assigned, so we'll be seeing her for a few episodes at least, I guess. Buffy finally reveals to Willow and Giles that Angel was cured just before he was defeated and sucked into Dimension X, and she seems to be relieved to finally get that out. And when she leaves, Willow's like, Giles, I really can't help with the binding spell. And this is the best twist of the episode. Giles says, there is no spell. It was all a ploy to get Buffy to talk. And I'm like, that was deviously clever, Giles, but it came from a place of caring. But I didn't see that coming. I thought he was actually doing the spell, but he said, there is no spell. So that was great. So the last business of the episode, Buffy goes to speak with Scott Hope and tries to patch things up. And after considering it for all of 2 seconds, he's still up for the date. And last business, Buffy goes to where Angel met his end at her hands to say goodbye and leaves the ring on the floor, and then she leaves. And the episode seems to end, but then whoop, the ring starts to glow brightly, and boop, Angel pops out butt naked, of course, onto the floor. And I'm like, oh, great. We just got this all settled. Now it's just going to be all fucking upended again.
We note for that whole scene is Angel booty.
Yep. So that was it for that episode, and my summary is that I did enjoy this episode. Some stuff got back to normal, like Buffy being back at school again, and we did some more world building, more about Watchers, and adding in the new layer of a new second Slayer again, but this one's going to stick around, it seems. And I knew, of course, that Angel would be back at some point. Like, I'm aware he got his own spin-off shows. I'm like, Angel's going to be back at some point. But rather than sort of let it sit for a bit, we're doing that now. So things are about to get even more complicated. So, yeah, I like this episode. I gave it 4 friendship rings out of 5.
I have some thoughts about this episode. I do like this episode. The only notes I ever had for Scott Hope, I literally typed his name and had nothing to write. Like, there was, besides, dude, seriously, a ring. So that's all I have on Scott Hope. That's my only thoughts on him in this episode.
He's pretty normal aside from the ring blunder.
Yeah, I'm just like, you're a bland 90s guy in a sweater vest. All right. And Buffy and Faith, there was a missed opportunity for them to bond over losing a Watcher. We forget that Giles isn't her first Watcher. She lost Merrick in LA. So that is something that they could have bonded over, and they just kind of glazed right over it. They never even brought it up. Like, you think that would be more traumatizing to Buffy, because in the movie, which we don't know if that's the same kind of canon, she did witness him dying.
And I know we saw an actor, and no shade to him, that played him in a flashback on the show, but to me that first one's always going to be Donald Sutherland, because I mean, come on.
Yeah. I like that in the warehouse, Faith is just for the first time truly seeing Buffy's full scope of, like, laying out an entire room. She took care of basically everybody except for Kikistos. Yep. And Mr. Trick and Mr. Trick's friend, because they were just like, time to go, and they just
there was a lady vampire that escaped with them.
Yeah. And I like that they had this moment on screen where in the library Buffy finally confesses to what happened in those moments. And Willow, I really like that Willow apologized, because she finally understood, her and Giles both finally understood where her head was at, where she had no school, no family, because her mom was like, don't come back. And then she had to kill, not Angelus, she had to kill Angel. That was the part that they were missing. And I just only wish that the rest of the crew was there, because I feel like Xander really needed to see that, but I understand why not. We'll come back around to that.
He would have cheapened the moment with something stupid for sure.
Yeah. And I don't love that Willow's second thought after I'm sorry, which I did love that was her first thought, is being like, well, since I technically made the spell work, I should help with this one. So keep an eye on that.
Well, that's the thing about magic users, is the magic comes first, that they're always looking for more magic.
Yeah. And I love, it took me, as a kid, I didn't get it. Like, I missed the point completely. I missed that twist at the end. I never really understood it until I got older. But I really loved that twist when I did discover it, because I only think I discovered that in my 20s when I watched it through.
It's interesting to watch stuff later in life. Like I said, you're doing a Battlestar Galactica watch through now, and I've been dipping in and out of that with you. But I've been Victor's stepdad for over half his life now, and I look through things with the father's eyes now. So when I see Bill Adama talking to Lee and stuff, it hits different now, and I look at it with older eyes, I guess. But it's interesting for sure.
Yeah, I find that Faith, Hope, and Trick is one of the smartest named episodes with both the title and the plot. There was lots of little tricks because technically Faith, Hope, and Trick didn't just mean Mr. Trick. This was a trick that Giles played to get her to open up about this. And Angel's gone, just kidding. He is like the king of, and another thing, walks back into the room for an argument.
I know. Like when you said about Willow and Buffy, in the library in the final scene there, I felt like a lot of stuff reached a resolution finally. Like we took a few episodes to get back to a sort of a status quo, but certain things wrapped up kind of nicely, and then of course it's all about to be thrown completely back into fucking chaos with Angel being back now. So. Yeah.
I also would just like to point out that this highly sexualized new character was only 17. Eliza was only 17 when she filmed this. And when Slayers are called, they're called at 15, 16. So how old is this child? Some people think that she's actually a little older than Buffy, that she's 18, but I think that's just to make her legal and to give argument to all that personality, which... I mean, is fine if you're comfortable in your sexuality, but not a 15-year-old, not a 17-year-old.
Yeah, if it's some 15-year-old saying, I'm all horny, I'd be like, oh, no. Yeah, right. No, Joss, no.
Yeah, exactly.
We're in enough trouble as it is.
Yeah.
Well, here's hoping Giles gets invited to the Cotswolds next year. Better luck next time, Giles.
Or maybe not. You're not this much, man. You gotta be around those people. Yeah.
They need him too much.
This also means at the end of the episode, Giles said, until a new watcher arrives. So we might get to see a new watcher.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting too, as we're always so focused on if a new Slayer gets activated, but the idea of a new watcher coming in is very interesting too, because they could bring a completely different dynamic to it. It could be adversarial or, whatever. It could be very interesting.
Yep.
Well, I guess that's it from us this week. We shall return next week with episodes 4 of Clone Wars and Buffy. Until then,